we're just out here. I'm just gonna be I don't know, you guys. Something really has happened to me recently. I'm just like, I'm at the bank, my first errand of the day, and I pull into my spot. My clock is wrong in my car, so it says 222, and I pull in, and there's literally, you guys, I'll post a picture, 7777, just peering at me. I just passed an 888. When I was a wee lass, I would recite the message that's on our mirrors in the car. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Like a little spell. And I would just sit in the back seat and I would just repeat it to myself over and over and over again. And I would like pretend like I was a witch. And I do not wonder why I'm like this. But the more, of course, 117, the more I've healed and the more my memories come back, the more I'm tapping into past lives, into Akashic records. Dreamland is making more sense. Like a big download came in the middle of the night last night. Everything is just ramping up and it's so cool. I remember my therapist, we were talking about Akashic records, I don't know, like a month or so ago. And I was like, yeah, I need to find someone to help me with them. Like, I don't know, find a mentor or someone. And she's like, Holly, you already know all of that. What do you think that all of these visions are, dude? Fuck. I don't wonder why I am like this at all. But the more I've healed, the more my memories come back, the more childhood has come back, which is amazing and such a blessing. And gosh, just the ramp up over the last month of past lives, Akashic records, just different timelines, different realms, different versions. It's just been ramping up a lot. And it's such a cool feeling. And I remember I was talking to my therapist maybe like a couple of months ago, and we were talking about Akashic records, and I'm like, yeah, I really need to find someone to help me with that and like uncovering mine and And she's like, Holly, dude, you already know everything. What do you think all of this is? One thing about mania and psychosis is what I believe mania and psychosis is like being incredibly tapped in with absolutely zero veil. There is no grounding, there is no veil, there is no nothing. You are fully tapped into the unseen. And that's why I feel like also I'm a little shaky talking about this because I'm not a medical professional. I only can obviously speak to my own personal experience, but I now know enough people that have been through this similar situation, women specifically, that this happened. And they were diagnosed with bipolar, schizoaffective, mood disorders, just like the whole lot, right? And I have so much to learn. But what I do know from my experience is when I was in those states, that's when now I'm on a roll, and a 444 drove by. So for me, those heightened states of being, I couldn't ground into anything. I was I had zero tether, and a lot that was coming out as rage was what I now know is, and I'm still discovering it, like it'll come in as as it's supposed to, but feeling like I was being lit on fire, number one. I was screaming my head off that someone was trying to kidnap me and take my blood. Okay, so obviously these things don't sound normal when they're coming out, but they are important because they are bringing you clues. there is so much shame and guilt that comes with the come down after a mental health episode, mania, psychosis, all of these things. And last year, I connected with a few women specifically that really helped me feel less shameful, less embarrassed, less humiliated, because they had gone through the same thing. And that is why it's important to talk about this, because I was so fucking embarrassed. Because everyone in my life, not everyone, there were like a couple people, thank God. But the majority of the people in my life were making me feel so crazy and so unsafe and so unseen. I was like, I have to go into hiding. I can't be this way. There's something wrong with me. No. You're fucking tapped, babes. Whoever they are, the theys, talk a lot about humiliation rituals, and that was definitely mine. And oh boy, you know, it really took me the better part of last year to really lean into that and not try to hide it or quiet it down. And of course, the more you just lean into it and accept it and say, you know what, at least I had this incredible human experience. And you're gonna find the people that have had like experiences, you know, like we are multi-dimensional, like just cosmic beings. It's weird to not have those moments or like, come on. I mean, how magical. And I was made to feel like a fucking idiot. All of this in the US Bank parking lot. All of this to say, there are people and there's community out there that's not going to make you feel ashamed or embarrassed or humiliated or anything. And I had to go through that experience. I am the most grateful for it now. Of course, I was grateful for it in the moment, but I didn't really know how big it was and how transformational it was going to be. And it led me to here. And this is every day is the most me I've ever been. So it's just, don't let anyone shame. I mean, it was a huge part of what is now my creative process. And it's messy and it is wild and it is hysterical and it is dark and it is deep and it's all of these things. And it's fucking gorgeous.